of it. I'm just going to do a quick bit of the quotation here from Mike Hawes, who is chief executive of SMMT, as you should know. We are aware of
You
a
should
decision.
know.
Yeah, well, we talk about him all the
I
time,
know.
don't we? So
I know. One day I'll actually say hello. Yeah.
you did last week. So
Yeah.
the quote is, we are aware of a decision made by the European Court of Justice that brought into question the existing certification of vehicles approved for sale by governments across Europe over a number of years. And that is at the nub of what we always say about this.
Can I just jump? So I'm going to get on my soapbox and say the thing that we always say, or at least I always say, which is that the vehicles passed the tests. They passed the test. They did what they were meant to do in the tests. Now, if the vehicle performs differently outside of the tests without anything that's obviously a test mode that it's kicking into, then the vehicle has, then that's not a problem. So if you come along and you say, this is the test specification, dear manufacturer, here it is, have the test specification, your car must pass this test. If 7 years later, somebody comes along and goes, hang on a minute, when this particular car with this particular engine is being cold started at the top of a mountain in significantly sub-zero temperatures and is then being driven with 4 passengers a bit further up another mountain, the pollution is not being put out is not the same as that which has taken place in the specified test. The problem there, if that is a significant issue, then, and I'm not saying it isn't, by the way, then the problem is not with the manufacturer passing the specification, passing the test. The problem is with the agencies who wrote the test.
Yeah. If the test does not represent real world, average real or real world examples that should be considered, how is the manufacturer to blame for that?
Now, the next thing is, those were the tests at the time. The tests have since evolved to try to better reflect reality. That's why we have WLTP tests now, which are not the same as the tests were that people are complaining about. So these are already out-of-date tests and out-of-date results that people are on about. WLTP, much better. I mean, it's still not perfect because there's still a limited amount of reality you can actually test in. But
well, one example to that, just to stop you there, because this reflects something I saw in my inbox today, and chatting with a friend of the show, he explained this to me. But the WLTP test for an EV van, the van is empty.
Yeah.
So it's utterly pointless at that point. At that time.
So again, it just doesn't. So the problem here isn't with the manufacturers who have gone and passed the test. This is what you must do, and they have gone and they have done it. Tick, passed, stamp. The problem isn't with that. The problem is that the test that they are passing does not reflect reality.
Yeah.
Closely enough. It's never going to be perfect. But if you don't understand, you don't understand. But if you don't get that, then you don't get the whole idea of like experiments and scientific principles and all of these kinds of things. And that's the way the world is. But then we see more and more that lots of people don't understand that kind of thing. And it's